there, I wanted to chat a little bit today about the wounds that generally are more masculine and the wounds that are generally more feminine. So we have societal constructs, which is basically patterns that have been ingrained into us through society over generations that we now just fall into, and we fall into allowing them to control us and keep us out of love and out of self-love. And I find that for men and women, we have completely different wounds. Obviously, there'll be men that fall into other categories, and there'll be exceptions, and there'll be women that have, a more masculine energy and men that have a more feminine energy. But as a general overlay, if you notice, and there's a lot of men out there that will go around and say, oh, it's biology, as if biology is some amazing thing that we really want to emulate. Whereas in my opinion, like, why do we want to be like cave people? Like, isn't the idea that we evolve and we move forwards? And I think anybody that's had a true love or a spiritual connection, even if it hasn't lasted, will have felt that energy, and they'll know that there's way more than like hot man meets hot woman, or like hot woman meets rich man. And we all, I think at this point, people watching this video would have experienced a connection that went way above like sort of biology and was on a far deeper essence, and so would be craving that, right? But I feel like a lot of what holds us back from these deeper connections is this kind of believing in these constructs. And even though we say we don't believe in them, they are kind of very ingrained into us. And I feel like for women, it's all around looks, it's all around physical appearance, and for men, it's all around what you can provide, how much money you have. Like, if you notice that if you say you were you're in a partnership and you go to a party, who the woman is going to be jealous of her man talking to, it's always going to be about looks. 90% of the time, she's only going to be intimidated if she thinks that the woman that the man is talking to is hotter than her, younger than her, or more attractive than her, because this is something that we've been taught as women, is where all our worth comes from, is our looks and our youth. So obviously that is probably only going to be at its peak for about 5 years. So then according to society, we should like just sort of roll over and die, and our value ceases to exist. But even though obviously in today's society we know this is not true, there are probably remnants in ours that is are blocks to us fully loving and accepting us and knowing that our worth is within. And men have the same lesson, they just have a slightly different thing. Like, if you're at a party and you're there with your partner and you start talking to somebody else, a man is probably going to be really insecure if the guy seems to have his life together, he's got lots of money, he's got a flash car outside. Think none of these things attribute to like a spiritual connection. They don't create that amazing energy. They don't create like a true love. They are very material, conditional things. And even though a lot of us on the spiritual path have gone beyond wanting a relationship based on material, conditional things, I think to some degree it does affect us, and it is something that we have to continually try to work through and to process. That as women, where do we, if we get, as a woman, if we tend to get like dumped by our partner, we never think, oh, it's because I don't make enough money. Oh, it's because I'm not rich enough for him. Oh, it's because I'm not successful enough. It will always go to, I'm not hot enough for him. I'm not young enough for him. That's always where the mind will go as a woman, until we kind of evolve that and we've passed that, and we've really understood like our worth is our I am, our God self, it's something non-tangible, and it's a connection that is not connected to these physical things. And if a man gets dumped, it's very rare that he's going to go away and think, oh, it's because I'm not good looking enough for her. Like, that hardly ever happens. He will go away and think, oh, I can come back again with more stuff, and then she's going to like me. And this does work in the 3D realm. So you can have a 3D relationship, absolutely, based on these exact things. Wealthier, stable man, hot, young, attractive woman. And this will create a 3D sort of regular relationship. But if you want to go deeper, like, we have to go beyond these societal conditionings, then we have to understand that it's like something deeper. But it's okay that we accept it in the other, but we have to truly know that that's not where our worth comes from. And I think even on the spiritual journey, it can be a bit of a process for men to understand that their worth doesn't come from how much they have, and that a woman doesn't come from like how she looks or how young she is. But I do think these are patterns that, you know, just require us to really kind of keep going within and keep questioning within ourselves. And I think that's why men and women have very different reactions after breakups, because men just think if they try a bit harder, they can make it happen. And they tend to just keep trying, right? Whereas women tend to be more kind of, they'll go away and they'll think, oh, well, I'm gonna, and this is where you get this uprising surgery, because they think if they can go and have a bit of like Botox and some filler, or they can lose some weight, that suddenly this man is going to come around and be interested. But that is only going to happen in a very 3D conditional sense. Like, yes, of course, there is that thing of a glow up and the man comes back, but it's always going to be conditional. It's not going to create like a deep soul connection. Of course, there's a glow up, however, where you glow up because you are more self-empowered and you love yourself, and that's like a very different kind of glow up, and that is very attractive. Like, that is very attractive on a soul level when we learn to love ourselves. And that's the same for men and the same for women. And I honestly think that's why there's been like a real uptick in older women, younger men relationships, because they actually trigger both parties more than the traditional older man, younger woman. Because in those types of relationships, you've just got the old dynamics of like, oh, older, richer, more stable guy with the younger, hotter, attractive woman. But when you start to get the older woman, younger men dynamics, it actually triggers both. It's not just the woman that it would trigger. It would actually trigger the man too, because he's probably not going to be as financially secure, and he's probably not going to be able to get that bit of ego met in that relationship, that he feels like he's a man. Like, he's just not going to have it as much in that style relationship. So he's going to have to process that wound if he wants to stay in it, and it's really a connection that's meant to be. He's going to have to really, really dig deep, and he's going to have to realize that his worth as a man doesn't come from his material wealth. And the woman is also going to have to dig really, really deep and understand that her worth isn't the fact that she's, you know, younger than him and super hot or whatever. And it's going to challenge both parties to grow. And I honestly think that's why in the spiritual connection, you see so many dynamics that way, whereas you probably won't see as many out there in the 3D material world, because it's a very different type of dynamic than your very traditional societal ingrained dynamic. But yeah, anyways, that's all I wanted to say on that. And I know I'm going to get loads of like men that have not had a spiritual connection that would just come and say, oh, it's biology that men want, blah, blah, blah. But I believe we're here to evolve biology. Otherwise, we'd be animals or cave people. You know, if we were meant to, I don't understand this trying to say, oh, well, this is what we were as cave people, so this is what we should be. I mean, surely the whole point is that we are supposed to evolve, and we are supposed to grow in consciousness, and we are supposed to separate ourselves from animals because we have consciousness, not like just go back to the biology of like millions and millions of years ago. But anyways, that's all I want to say on this topic. Obviously, everyone can believe what they want to believe, but yeah, anyways, have a good day, everyone. Bye.